Hey, hey, you guys. Hi. Good morning. 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 Here we go. Good. Just wanted to see if I was. I, um, I've been experimenting with my little phone. That I do this every morning on my phone, and I prefer this having it horizontal as having the phone vertical. But a couple of times I've started out and it shows up kind of it shows up upside down. Anyway, here I am. Good morning. Good morning. I have just a short message this morning. A very short message. I think you know. Hi, Emily, Christine, Dillon. I'll see you tomorrow. I look forward to it. I'm going to call you in a couple minutes, so I have a couple of questions. But glad you're here. So most of my life, has been full of questions, and really it's the caliber of the questions in our life that really make the difference, so my questions often I had questions like, who am I? Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? I didn't buy into the narrative, I guess, of right from the beginning. I guess I didn't buy into the narrative that I was going to go to school and go to university and get a job and find the perfect gal and have a family and all of that. And I mean, a lot of that stuff kind of happened but it didn't happen in the way that you might have imagined. So the questions were always there, and one of the questions also is what's real? It wasn't so much my question, although I had times when I would be in a kind of a state, whether it was back in the old drug days, whether it was a drug-induced state or just something I dropped into where, this all didn't seem very real. I used to see what I called were rips in the fabric of reality. I used to it's like, wow, is this real? And what is real? And so the questions. If you don't have these questions, if these questions don't come up for you, it's likely that you're not going to be that interested in the kind of things that I'm sharing, and so through the questions, I realized, look at that. Hello, Chris McElwain. My daughter Emily and my brother Chris are here today. Amazing. Hi, you guys. Love you. So the questions, who am I? Why am I here? Is this real? Were there for me all of my life, and I didn't buy into the story, the religious stories. I didn't, feel that was real in this moment. I felt that those were stories from the past that I didn't get. It weren't real for me, and I didn't understand, who I was, and it took a lot of really a lot of pain, I guess, to see that somehow in my development I had been geared towards life from self-centered basis, and so I often played victim, often had self-pity. I was often angry at people. I was often judgmental, because it was all about me. And I realized that as life went on, that wasn't fulfilling. That didn't work. And I many of you know I sobered up in the 12-step world 40 years ago, but the I chased the illusion that life was, that I was kind of at the center of it for a lot of years, trying to get my way, trying to, I had this idea that I would be somebody if I had, a certain level of success, or if I had a certain relationship, or if I had a certain motorcycle, or if I had those things would make me happy. And I chased a lot of that stuff. At the same time, I was doing this spiritual work, but I was still, had self-centeredness, quite grossly in my being. I just couldn't see it. I didn't understand. It seemed like the only way. But at the same time, I read ferociously, like Dr. David Hawkins, and Hawkins said that as we let go of self, the small s self, as we let go of self, hi Teresa Ann, as we let go of self, that we move into our natural state. And I'd always imagined that I'd always imagined I had to earn that space. I had to somehow earn my relationship with the higher power, or with God, or with universal intelligence. I had to qualify in some way. And Hawkins really helped me to see that I didn't have to qualify, that was my natural state, that unconditional love was my natural state, that my divinity, we are divine beings in essence, because we are part of the whole. And this is Bill Wilson, a little piece that Bill gave me in We Agnostics. Bill said, God either is or he isn't. Either he's everything or he's nothing. Well, if he's everything, it was like, then he's, there is no he. There's that. And through meditation, it all kind of started to drop into place. And I realized that the story of me, who I thought I was, wasn't true. It was all conditioned belief. And I started to let go of that. And as I let go of that, it was like I'd been anchored down in the ocean, and my natural state is a cork to float on the top. And I started to lift up. And I realized that I am one with that. There is no separation. There's not something for David, the self-centered, egotistical, idea of David, to believe in, that lifts me up. It's actually letting go of all of who I thought I was. Poor me, and that kind of an attitude, which kept me in judgment all the time. I was living in good and bad, and right and wrong, and the dualistic world. So when as I recognized from the teachings of the masters, really, that as I let go of that, I became one with God, and we all are that. We all are that, and it's possible for all of us to live free, and still be here. Ego says, yeah, but who's going to pay the rent? That's an exaggeration, but really, ego does say, yeah, but you need me. And I'm here to tell you that everything flows. It just flows. And we can be love in all situations. It doesn't matter. I was talking with somebody the other day, and I love the Christian story where the ultimate, idea of not even forgiveness, but just recognizing that most people are living in fear. Most people are living in fear, so we can't really judge them. We can't say, well, they shouldn't have done this, or they should have known better, because they're in fear. And fear is the father of the lie. Fear, rules the house often. So when the story of Jesus on the cross, and he said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He knew that they were living in fear, and they were afraid of him in that story. So I just, I've been, sometimes I feel that I don't have the words so well to share with you what's happened for me, that the freedom that's come, that's like, I know now that I'm not who I thought I was. I had all these beliefs about myself, and I now know that I am this indescribable. I have It's not that I'm connected to it. I am that. I'm not living life. I am life. And the same for you, you know. But I was living life before trying to manage it, trying to organize it, trying to orchestrate it. And it's so beautiful to be free of that. And now, every day I read a little bit from this 24-hour day book, because, you know, we all need to be reminded daily of some of the how-tos around living, and you know, just to follow the path, and the longer we're on this, you know, and there's a third step prayer that I say every day: God, I offer myself to thee, to build with me and do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me the bondage of self. The bondage of self. I was trapped in myself. Relieve me the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them bear witness to those I would help. Thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. May I do thy will always. So it's all the prayers in the 12-step world are around leading us to serve, to give this away, to carry this message, and so that this reading that I'm going to do is generally always based in how can we make a difference, how can we help out. And so I love reading this every day, because, well, I never know what it's going to say, because I never prep. I never read it in advance, so I never know what it's going to say. But I'm going to bet that it's, you know, it's got something to do with service. What date is it? The 16th. Okay. The 16th, thought for the day. The way of the 12 steps is the way of faith. We don't get the full benefit of the program until we surrender our lives to some power greater than ourselves and trust that power to give us the strength we need. Yes. Isn't that beautiful? There is no better way for us. We can get sober without it. We can get sober without it. We can stay sober for some time without it. But if we're going to truly live, we must take the way of faith in God. That is the path for us. We must follow it. Have I taken the way of faith? So that's basically what I'm saying. But some of us really have to, hi Kathy Lynn, let go of our Sunday school ideas of God, because and that was a big thing for me. I had been conditioned really strongly that God was separate from me, that it was some guy in the clouds, you know. I mean, I literally, that was the picture, and so it took a long time to recognize that he wasn't separate. And it wasn't just that I had, you know, an experience of a separate being coming into my sphere. I realized that it's all. God either is or he isn't. Either he's everything or he's nothing. And it was like, wow. Often I ask the question, where is God not? You know? So it's not a separate being. And that was the for me, in We Agnostics, in the 12, in the big book, it talks, you know, it helps us to see that we had an idea that we kind of set aside, because we said, well, that isn't, you know, it was our childhood Sunday school idea. Life, it says, is not a search for happiness. Happiness is a byproduct of living the right kind of a life, doing the right thing. Do not search for happiness, search for right living, and happiness will be your reward. Life is sometimes a march of duty during dull, dark days, but happiness will come again as God's smile of recognition of your faithfulness. So often we speak of God in a metaphor. True happiness is always the byproduct of a life well lived. Whoa. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may not seek happiness, but seek to do right. I pray that I may not seek pleasure so much as the things that bring true happiness. Beautiful. So that's the reading from that little book. I started reading that in the 1st of May, and it's really gotten, it's like, holy Toledo, months have gone by, and we're reading it every day, and I enjoy doing that, and I really do. This morning, I was in a meeting, and they read this. It was the Daily Reflections, and I thought when I got the chance to do this that I would read it too. This is from another book called Daily Reflections that sometimes has some amazing stuff. And the first thing that it reads this morning in December 16th, Partners in Recovery. Nothing will so much ensure immunity from drinking as intensive work with other alcoholics. So the same thing for, well, nothing will ensure happiness than working with other people and bringing people to this, to the light, if you will, to a relationship with to a God consciousness. Both you and the new man must walk day by day in the path of spiritual progress. Follow the dictates of a higher power, and you will presently live in a new and wonderful world, no matter what your present circumstances. Isn't that amazing? Hi, Laura Lee. Hi, you guys. Kathy Lynn. Doing the right thing, it says. Doing the right things for the right reasons. This is my way of controlling my selfishness and self-centeredness. I realize that my dependency on a higher power clears the way for peace of mind, happiness, and sobriety. I pray each day that I will avoid my previous actions so that I will be helpful to others. I don't read that often, that daily reflection, so I don't read it here. But when I heard it read this morning, it was great. Okay. Hey, you guys. So we're going to meditate for a few minutes. That's what we've been doing here. We've been doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And the next thing is a little bit of that, which is our meditation. So I'd love you to join me for a few minutes. Not long, usually only 3 to 5 minutes, but we drop in, and it's a good practice. And to drop in, I'm going to do a little bit of guided and kind of get you to that spot, that magical spot, hopefully, that where everything opens up, where we feel the peace. We realize that we're not who we thought we were. All right, so close your eyes and see if you can find, a comfortable spot where your back is supported. Just drop in. I find that the breath often, brings me into the moment. Use the breath. Just use the breath. Just come into the quiet, come into that space. We're going to leave all of our concepts behind, all of our ideas of who we are, who we think we are, all of our stories of, battle stories and stories that tell us that we're not good enough, or all of our guilt stories. Just leave them all behind. Bring nothing with you today. Don't even bring your name. Just be here, empty. No tomorrow, no yesterday, no next, no what if. Just now. Just be here now. Recognize that sometimes our thoughts come up and we're not our thoughts. They just run on their own. And if you can see that, you are not your thoughts, you're well on your way to discovering who you really are. We're not our thoughts, we're not our story, we're not our body. Even our body is just a vehicle. It's a beautiful vehicle that we get to live in. So just drop past all of that into an openness, to a oneness. To a light, to an indescribable something that's always been there. has no time, no beginning, no end. No form. Okay, come back now. Come back when you're ready. Just ask yourself, are you prepared to let go of the story? Many of us have, our whole identity is wrapped around some event, marriage breakup, or somebody passing away, and everything goes from there. Just let that go. It's part of the illusion. If it happened, it wasn't what we thought. We made up a story around it. So just let it go. That's part of the freedom, to let everything go. Okay, love you guys. Life is good. Talk to you soon. Remember one thing, to reach out and talk to somebody these next few days, Call a couple of friends, call people you think might be on their own, that might enjoy a phone call. Reach out, and if you're on your own, it's up to you. Make some calls. Say hello to people. Listen to them. Just listen. Okay, love you lots. Bye.